Does anyone else find it interesting that the authorities within Egypt are hoping that the newly found necropolis of underground mummies will increase the tourism within the country ever since it plummeted in the last several years following wars and all kinds of political turmoil? I mean, you may remember the stories that made international headlines around the world about 2 hidden chambers within the Great Pyramid of Giza that were allegedly to be excavated. And here we are, more than a year and a half later, and they haven't even looked into it at all. Allegedly. Wait a second, why would I say allegedly? I'll get into that in a second. First, let me just share with you about these mummies, and this will only take a second because it's really not that interesting. So, in the deserts of Egypt, they have found at least 17 mummies underground, approximately 7 meters down. And there's at least 17, possibly 30, and for some reason, they claim that they're 2,300 years old, even though they've done no testing whatsoever. There's no evidence. I mean, they didn't provide any type of scientific evidence to back up that claim of being 2,300 years old. Now, why would I find that interesting? Well, they've made up stories about timetables before, haven't they? I mean, look at the case of the Great Sphinx. If you're not aware, more than 200 professional geologists from numerous countries around the world have visited the Great Sphinx and has stated that the evidence is overwhelmingly conclusive that there is tens of thousands of years of water erosion on the limestone bedrock that encloses the Sphinx. That's interesting because Egyptologists are adamant that the true age of the Sphinx is only a few thousand years old, between 3,000 and 4,000 years old in fact. When the last time the Nile Delta received enough substantial rainfall to cause this type of water erosion around the limestone bedrock was more than 7,000 years ago, which is more than double the age of the Sphinx. I mean, never mind that the pharaohs literally etched in stone detailed lineage of the pharaohs dating back more than 30,000 years, which Egyptologists say is incorrect and obviously they were wrong and it's symbolism of something else. Okay. Now, getting back real quick to the 2 hidden chambers and how I mentioned that allegedly they hadn't looked into it. Keep in mind that back between 1993 and 2002, there was an incident where they went looking through a tunnel shaft system within the Great Pyramid to look behind a hidden doorway. And even though the Egyptian government adamantly claimed that nobody had excavated this site in the years between, it doesn't seem to explain the fact that there's a broken and missing bronze handle that was on that stone in 1993. Now keep in mind, they state that the Egyptian military guards the entire site 24/7. Guys, let's be realistic. The Egyptian authorities have gone in there silently, secretly. I mean, they could do it at night and nobody would ever know otherwise, right? Why else would they be so shady about this stuff? I mean, the last ancient wonder of the world that is shrouded in so much mystery. They have evidence that there's 2 hidden chambers and a year and a half later they haven't even gone looking into it? How stupid is that? I mean, what don't just blame corruption and a slow paperwork process in Egypt. No. They are lying to us. You know, this reminds me. There's been many compelling arguments brought forward by many people suggesting that there are 2 subterranean chambers below the Great Sphinx. Yet the Egyptian government refuses to go looking into it. I mean, really? They can't just drill a hole and take a peek? It's funny how they get so apprehensive about that and the true age of the Sphinx. Why is that? And let's not forget just how likely these 2 underground chambers really are. I mean, if you're not aware, there is a massive underground tunnel system within the Giza Plateau. In fact, there are numerous shafts carved into solid limestone bedrock, many of which are completely symmetrical and plummet more than 100 feet down. And they're completely unexplainable. Nobody knows what these shafts were used for. And some of these are actually pretty close to the Great Sphinx, as you can see there in the background. And by the way, you can see pictures of Brian Forrester in these photos, and he took these photos. So be sure to check out Brian Forrester's YouTube page and his website, hiddenincatours.com. So to bring all this together, what am I suggesting here? I'm not suggesting that nobody goes to visit Egypt. In fact, it would be great if the tourism increased because more people need to go to these sites and see that, holy crap, what we were taught in school about ancient Egypt and human civilization is so full of holes. And it's not until you actually look at what Egypt has to offer aside from just pictures of the pyramids that you start to understand that there was some sort of lost ancient high technology and that ancient humans were far more advanced than we ever realized and date back far earlier than what we were taught in school. Anyways, I'll leave it at that. I'm Jimmy. This is Bright Insight. Like and subscribe. I have many other videos to come on a whole wide variety of topics. Take care, everybody.